back here on the program. Nice to see you. Brad, you're familiar with this guy. Mr. Leto, how are you, man? What's going on?
Nice to see you.
Dude, you lost a lot of weight, man.
I did lose 65 pounds.
God, we'll tell you.
No applause necessary.
No. You get enough, right?
Yeah.
Can we show us that MySpace page?
Disturbing pictures you have
This
here,
is your MySpace page, bro.
Oh,
it's your
that's
fault.
what that is.
Do you even go on this thing?
I don't go on this too often. Sometimes the guys in the band will check it, but we have a lot of people, I guess almost 300,000 friends.
We're friends.
We're a friendly band.
That kind of friend, this kind of friends, you might need some drugs to work through that. That's crazy, man. That's cool. But it's a sad day for MySpace because MySpace, as you know, is a great place to find out about music. You can hear your stuff right there. Well, you know, and the idea is now they're using software to stop people from posting copyrighted music. Basically, movies or songs on a major label.
Interesting.
If you got a MySpace page and you put this stuff up, it could be an issue for you, which is too bad because a lot of people actually found out about bands, even your band, from MySpace. It's called MySpace, okay? It's not called Your Space.
Yeah, and you know, 30 Seconds to Mars was built on the foundation in the days of Napster and peer-to-peer when that was a really new technology, and of course we all know what happened as a result of that not being embraced by the record labels. Was a lot of confusion. But that's too bad. I mean, this has been a really great place to enhance the sense of community for 30 Seconds to Mars, and you know, I hear that you can meet really hot girls there, too.
Maybe we'll get in that conversation.
I don't know.
In a bit,
I don't go on. But I did have a guy that was squatting and pretending to be me.
He still is. It's at myspace.com/Jared Leto.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Pretending to be me, and I thought I had gotten him kicked off.
Not so much.
But I heard at last count there were like 30-something people pretending to be me on MySpace. So all those guys, you are sick, you need help, and get a therapist or something, please.
The wonderful world of celebrity. Here's the news. You have very little old school cred when you play golf like that. You do. All right, time to get to our next guest right now. If I say his name, somebody might scream. Jared Leto? Yeah, you know, obviously big-time actor, big-time musician as well. Got himself another record right here. His band called 30 Seconds to Mars. We'll talk to him about that. He's got another film coming out too, which is a bit of a doozy. And this man put his body through hell to get into it. Listen, most actors, you know, if they got a pretty face, they milk it for all it's worth. Jared picks the kinds of parts where he usually gets the crap kicked out of him. All right, we'll talk about all that, but especially his new record. Leto's here in a moment. First, the bio. Jared Leto has played a lot of roles in his life. A drug addict guy, bad robber guy.
Take what you want and get out.
Who could forget pretty boy who gets his face smashed in guy?
I like just trying something new.
Oh, he was also the close friend of Alexander the Great guy. Jared's been in more than 15 flicks, and you begin to notice a bit of a theme here, all right? He often portrays the inner, darker side of a very pretty exterior, best illustrated in music. Leto, big time into rock and roll. He actually formed a band with his brother called 30 Seconds to Mars. Jared does the singing. His brother Shannon plays the drums. They're inspired by, you know, the U2s, Cures, Zeppelins, Floyd's, a bit of the metal as well. And Jared says that their latest album, which is called A Beautiful Lie, is about going to war with yourself and winning. And while we're on the topic of battling inner demons, Leto's upcoming film, he says, is the most difficult film he's ever been a part of. It's called Chapter 27. Maybe it's because he had to put on over 60 pounds to play Mark David Chapman, the twisted, ill man who shot and killed John Lennon. Now you know who he is. Jared Leto's here. Nice to see you, man.
Nice to see you.
How are you?
I'm really good.
Excellent.
It's very nice to be back in Toronto. We love it here. We've come here so many times. We've been here already 4 times, just on this album alone.
Well, it's funny when people think, oh, Jared Leto got a band now?
Yeah.
You signed like almost 10 years ago to a record deal.
Yeah, it's been a really long time, and I was saying before that people come up now and are like, God, you guys blew up so quickly, and we're like, oh yeah, thank you very much. But it's been a really long time, and the album is really catching fire, and it's incredible to be a part of this ride right now. It's really cool.
You know, when I saw you guys play, I guess we played the Horseshoe in Toronto. 98, you said, is that what you played?
We played in 98, and then we played again in 2001, 2002.
You came out, you had this, you were walking through the audience, you had a surgical mask on, you were doing this thing, you know, and I'm watching you going, what's he doing?
Yeah.
What's he doing? Yeah. And I mean, and it was a neat thing for you because, you know, you've been around the scene for a long time in terms of music, and I've interviewed a lot of bands, and I know that when it comes to another record, because I remember talking to you in your first record, and you had this kind of thing, first major label, where you were I mean, I suspect you had something to prove, but it's different, I guess, with a second record for you, isn't it?
So I think we've become more of who we really are, and we're much more comfortable with who we are. And this record was a chance for me as a songwriter to kind of put my heart on the table, and all of us really put our lives into this record in a very deep and passionate way. And I think that it's paying off because people are responding to it in a deep and passionate way.
You know how records are made. I know how records are made. They know how records are made. Half the time when a band gets into a studio, it's people who aren't even in the band playing on the record. It's overproduced. The record company gets involved, and it generally is really prefab. How much of this was actually you, and if it wasn't, did you have to fight for that?
None of it. It was actually a band from Puerto Rico called Menudo.
Awesome. Well, they must have been doing something.
Yes, and no, 30 Seconds to Mars is something that